give us some Biz Dev updates.
Hey, great. Yeah. Hey, thanks everyone. Great song. Great start to the meeting. So we got several things being worked on the BD side right now. To begin, as some of you have seen from the Discord, some members of the Olympus community have caught on to Beanstalk recently. Very nice to see potential collaboration, integration discussions happening. Max initiated a conversation with several of the OMIs, and we're kind of at a preliminary discussion stage right now, so nothing really definitive, but potentially looking to seed some potential pools for consideration by the DAO to be whitelisted into the silo. So we're going to be having a call with them, I believe, next week. Again, just preliminary stage, nothing definitive at this point, but once we have more details, that'll be shared with everybody. On the liquidity integration front, I believe the development team is working on that. Still need some more testing, so it looks like that's probably going to be about a month away, and I believe that's going to coincide with the BIP that generalizes the bean farm. So in terms of the technicals, I'll defer to the dev team on that, but we're looking at about a month away for LUSD integration, which is exciting, and definitely something I'm looking forward to based off of my contributions on that. Liam has done some research on rye, and so he's at initial stages of that. So he's going to be presenting some more information to the BD team next week on what he's found. Some interesting developments with staking pools. So as you all know, the Beacon chain is ongoing, and there's various staking pools, Rocket Pool and Lido Finance being the biggest ones. But there's a smaller staking pool called Stakewise. Their dev team is actually top notch, in my opinion. They identified a significant vulnerability that thankfully was not exploited in Rocket Pool and Lido Finance's code at the end of last year. If you guys recall, that was the reason why Rocket Pool actually delayed their launch. So anyways, I've had discussions with them in the past, and I brought up Beanstalk with them recently. Mr. Manifold actually has engaged with them on an interesting idea in terms of a protocol kind of being built on top of Beanstalk to kind of leverage staked ETH and the yield opportunities that may present. So I'm going to defer to him on those details, but he had a conversation with them today and it apparently went well. So happy to hear that. Tally Wallet looks like that's being finalized, and the dev team should hopefully get that out by early next week. And that's pretty much all I have on the BD side. So if there's anything else, Dumpling or Publius or anybody, feel free to chime in, but that's my notes.
I've got a question. Could you quickly summarize what exactly the integration with Tally Wallet will look like? I'm just not familiar with the specifics.
Sure, yeah. So on the technicals, I can't comment, but in general, right now with Beanstalk, the user interface, you can connect through MetaMask. The idea is to kind of open up, Beanstalk to a broader audience, other wallet providers. Some, crypto users prefer other wallet providers, especially after recent events. You probably have seen with MetaMask and various restrictions have been put on place through Infura, etc. So Tally Wallet is a decentralized wallet. That's kind of like their ethos. It's very much in line with what Beanstalk advocates in terms of first principles in crypto. So we've had some good discussions with them, and so it'll be an additional wallet option for users to interact with Beanstalk and just open up the audience for potential users.
Something I'll throw in too is that from watching Tally's Discord, it looks like they're going headlong into trying to get integrated with the Ledger too. So that's another hardware option that'll come along with that, I think.
Yeah, and they're going to also have a in-wallet swap service, kind of like with MetaMask swaps. So hopefully, once the initial wallet integration is implemented with Beanstalk, we can kind of have a more advanced discussion with them about integrating potentially some of the Bean liquidity pools into that, into their swap functionality. But again, I'll defer to the devs on that. So.
All right. Well, yeah, thanks for the explanation there. I actually heard Tally Wallet got a shout out on Bankless today, specifically related to that swap feature that's competing with MetaMask. So I think that's pretty compelling, and it's good to see that that's near finality.
Definitely. And I think Silo Chad is spearheading that. So hats off to him and the rest of the dev team for all the great work that they're doing.
Cool. Thanks, Sync. Yeah, that was really exciting. Your guys' biz dev call yesterday was just tons going on. So keep it up. That's really exciting. So as far as operations updates, I'll give a few. We've had just a bunch of snapshots going out that have passed, that have, so some new past snapshots are the merch snapshot, which, so there's some merch. If you guys want, there's tumblers, there's shirts, and there might be a trucker hat or two left. So you can reach out to Farmer Dan, and this covers some of the expenses associated with that. So that's pretty cool. And I have my trucker hat. I wear it all the time, and hopefully people see some Beanstalk stuff on the streets, and it's kind of fun. Then the pod marketplace, which was a big success. We upped the payment a little bit for that, so that was passed. So that will be going out. Then we have a few people. Anon123 is a part-time Solidity backend developer who was passed, so that's really great. We need a lot of help there. We have Lonnie Bean, who is a part-time middleware developer, and Bella Beantalk, who is a part-time sound designer in the design department. And then current snapshots, we have Beanie Hut Jr., who is a part-time front-end developer, going to be helping out Silo Chad. And then you can also go vote for funding the Luna engagement. So that is up as of today. And then there's several more that are coming up, so you can look for those. We've been focusing on, I've had quite a few interviews with building out the ops team a little bit. So I may have found one person that I'll be adding, so that's pretty exciting. And then just continued organization. You probably noticed some project management that has been going on. Maybe you've been added in the Notion, or we've had a meeting where we've went through different your cards. Jaker B has done a really great job of reorganizing that, and we're trying to just get all the deadlines. Renamed the project launch date to deadline at some people's suggestions. So we're trying to get a handle on all those deadlines and just try to get a better overall organization of how things are going. And it's not so much about accountability, but just making sure that everyone's on the same page and transparency. So that's really what we're going for. I mean, there's accountability too, but I know that everyone's working hard. It's just a matter of just trying to keep, as we grow, we just want to keep our priorities straight, and just really all be making sure that we're kind of rowing in the same direction. So that's really where that's coming in. So that's mostly for the department heads that I'm talking with, but it filters down all through the org. So I'll also be publishing pretty soon an org chart that we did, that the people I've shared it with have really been like, oh, this is amazing. It really helps me understand who's who. So I think that is going to be something that is housed in operations. We keep it updated, and then we'll publish it and keep it on the Notion. So that's just been kind of our overall planning process. We're working on the next budget and kind of Q2 planning. So that's going to probably be a big portion of the rest of the month, working on that. And that's about it. Then just kind of handling inbound and trying to make sure that we're not blocking anything. So next would probably be, I'll bring up D's. If you want to, I know that we talked about maybe doing a screen share and taking people through the style guide. And then I'm sure you have other design updates as well.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, I mean, not too much different from last week. It was done. Then the only things that were different is just our mission and our vision statements that Copy and Publius put together. And so, I mean, everything else again is pretty much the same, but we can have our official vision and mission statements here. It's going to be our public-facing thing. So, for example, Beanstalk's vision: become the world's internet money. Beanstalk mission: enable simple, efficient, and decentralized financial transactions. But yeah, definitely encourage everyone to kind of look through this and see how we're going to take the visual identity of Beanstalk and apply it further. And I remember there was some comments last week as far as seeing like some of the lines in the logo. Yeah, that's just like an anti-aliasing, something to do with the compression and how you display it. So if you have Acrobat or it's really bad preview on Google or the website, and so we'll probably have to just go in and just change all of these. It's because these are too high res, and so when they try to get compressed down, like it has these weird lines in them, and so we might just go through and replace all of them with like lower res images. But yeah, so really excited. It's officially version 1 done. So, and huge shout out to Guavanam. He's somebody that we contracted. I actually know, work with them before, and trying to get him back onto the team part-time. He's working full-time right now at a firm, but yeah, hopefully as we have that, there you go. Hopefully as we have that, we can start building out some more just general content as far as like, marketing material and all that stuff, getting ready for our brand relaunch at the end of this month. On the video and motion side, so some exciting developments there. We have 2 promo videos incoming for the end of this month, aligned with the new brand as well. Really exciting there. We're kicking that off the next day, essentially, so that we can have that ready. And audio and video, they'll be working together on that. And then, of course, the website product team is killing it. Trying to stay on track and stay on schedule. We're finished a huge revamp with the silo, and we're just kind of moving along. And don't want to get too much into the weeds. So if anybody has like additional questions, just DM me, and I can walk you through some of the progress if you're curious. But yeah, so as far as any other major updates, I mean, that's all the fun, exciting things going on in design.
Great, thanks. And what about the podcast?
Almost forgot. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, so that is also being headed up by Beethoven and Bella Beantalk. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have last I heard. Actually, we might Beethoven, if you want to come up and just talk about that a little bit, that'd be great. But we're shooting for a first episode next week. But yeah, Beethoven, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So the podcast is something that Beantalk is actually going to be heading up because they have a pretty significant experience in podcasting and podcast design, etc. But essentially, we're going to be aiming for a really, really quick turnaround, especially for episode 1. So far, on the docket we have Rex, who's going to be hosting, and he's doing an amazing job so far. We've got him all set up with all the mics and the equipment that we needed. We just ran a test. He sounds great, of course. And this Friday, we're actually going to be interviewing Publius, and with that interview, we'll have the materials that we'll need to cut the first 2 episodes. So that first episode, there will be a draft ready come Monday, with the goal of releasing it by Wednesday at the very latest. If it's good to go on Monday, then that's great, and we can just go for it there. And then the second draft, we'll learn a lot as we complete this first episode about what's needed, what's not, and so hopefully the second one will go pretty quickly after that as well.
That's amazing. Great timeline, guys. That's great. That's ambitious. Looking forward to it. Deez, is there anything else, or should we go to the next department?
Podcast, video, graphics, website. Nope. Yep. That's everything. So lots of content coming in hot by the end of this month. So excited. We're gonna need all the community's help to get this out.
Awesome. Okay. Do we have TB? Do we have TB? Oh, great. I can hear you, but try again.
Can you hear me now?
Much better.
Any better? Awesome. Sounds good. Let's start a little bit with Serotonin. So Serotonin is in the process of being onboarded. They have started work, having daily calls with them. 3 of their folks are in our Discord. We have William from community, who's going to be working with FRAX. We have Claire on content, and then we have Sean, who is the marketing director for the account. So just working to get them all onboarded. And yeah, we did have a meeting today about SEO. So one of the first things we're doing with them is kind of figuring out a good SEO strategy. SEO is is one of our strongest sources of quality traffic, by which I basically mean that a lot of the folks that come to us from search are downloading the white paper or getting into the Discord at a much higher rate than other channels. So that's really cool. And they're going to help us optimize for that. Working with Silo, Chad, and these beans, we're going to have a strong SEO strategy. I'm going to have probably a blog even by the time we launch the new brand and launch sort of the new blog. That's going to drive a lot of our SEO. Also, and J-Dubs, feel free to pitch in, but we had a call with Luna, and that's a second sort of agency we're working with, which is very focused on PR. And the contract is in. We have to submit the snapshot, and as soon as the snapshot passes, we'll have Rex sign the contract, and they'll be onboarded pretty quickly as well. Also, a bunch of other initiatives, but I'll let Maud actually pitch in for Cre8rDAO, so they can go through sort of the activities that have been happening on that side. Maud, do you want to do that?
Yeah, very briefly. I think most of the community has been seeing the articles or the posts that Cre8r has been churning out. But otherwise, that's it. TB has more or less summarized it all.
Awesome. Sounds good. Yeah. So those are major updates from marketing.
Maud, since some people might not be keeping quite as close of an eye on it, can you just throw out a few that have happened in the last week or two that have come from Cre8r?
Yeah. So for the past 2 weeks, the first week, Cre8r has been pushing out the poker tournament material. So most of the stuff that you guys have been seeing was done by Cre8r. And then in the last week, they have posted 3 articles, a YouTube video, and a Twitter thread. So if you guys saw the Caesar video that was explaining the curve gauge proposal, that was done by the Cre8r guys.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's good background.
Yeah.
Any questions for marketing? Okay. All right, next, Rex, do you want to give a community update?
Yeah, sure. All kinds of stuff going on in the community team. So we've got a couple snapshots that are in review right now to go up. One is for Cassie for a social media lead, and then the other one is for PF Drake 88 as an events lead. And hoping to get those through pretty quickly so we can get them rolling as quickly as possible. And talked quite a bit about the podcast, so I won't rehash that. I've been doing some research for that. And what else? Oh, a lot of it just kind of keeping up on what's been going on Twitter and in Discord. And huge shout out to everybody that's been helping out, answering questions and getting information around and interacting with folks. I posted I tweeted a screenshot from this morning of some of the interaction and people just complimenting how good the community is. And I want to just pass along my thanks to the folks on this call and really, everybody in the Discord community in general, because it's exactly what we want to see in terms of being welcoming, being willing to answer questions, being respectful. And I can't compliment this group enough about how that's being handled. So big shout out to everybody. Thank you so much. And there was something else on my list, but it has temporarily left my memory. So, but yeah, just trying to get folks through and get the team built up and keep moving forward.
When are we going to get everything translated into Chinese?
Oh man, as soon as we can find someone that can do that translation. Now,
that is a shout out for bilingual people. Or people who know. I don't know. I'll let you do that, but
and I guess, and yeah, I mean that. I guess, admittedly, something I'm wrestling with, and I'm sure there are a lot of people that are a lot more versed in Discord than I am. I mean, does anybody know if there are technical solutions to that, like some type of either like curated translation service or some type of automatic service that could help, or are other DAOs literally just finding bilingual people and just doing it that way?
This is TV. And I'm not sure about other DAOs, but generally, other tech companies tend to use, you can find really good technical folks on Upwork, for example. They'll charge a little bit higher, but they'll do a pretty good job. And if you find a good one, you can continue to sort of come back to them whenever you need updated documents. So that's one way that a company I know of does it. But always, if you can find someone within the community who has the skill to do that, that's also great. But Upwork would be a platform I'd suggest signing up and maybe looking through some of the talent that exists on there.
That's great. I appreciate the suggestion, because I wasn't exactly sure how to address that.
I think a quick thing as well to add, or a quick one, is to create the different languages channels in Discord and just see who's coming in, who's throwing in messages or anything like that. That will give us a bit of an idea. We can also ask the group right now here: does anyone speak other languages, or are they interested in another language in Discord or in general? Okay, the last comment was something that TB this morning took me over the Discord analytics. I'm not sure if FRAX, you on the community team are you have access to that or you see it. So that will probably be interesting for you to track the community engagement in general and see what are the interesting things that are happening there.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to see that. I would love that. Did you say TB ran you through it?
Yes, I'm not sure if he can help you or someone else can do that.
Yeah, Rex, if TB's got the bandwidth, for sure, TB. If you need someone else, I can run you through it too as well, Rex, just so you know.
Yeah, that would be just fine. And actually, now that you say it, the last thing that was on my list was I'm talking with William from Serotonin here in 30 minutes. That was the other thing that I was going to mention, and TB had already mentioned it earlier in his update as well. So we're going to see what his thoughts are on how to continue to engage with the community.
Right. Well, I will say that ever since you've joined, we have, I feel like I've seen so many times, this is the friendliest community, this is the best community, and our Discord is starting to grow. So
we're starting to get some steam.
Let's just keep that up, and so great. All right, next, Mr. Manifold. You want to talk a little bit about Beansprout?
Sure. Hope everyone's doing well. So where should I start? Since Syncubate brought up Stakewise, had a good call with Stakewise. Kind of conceptualizing, ideating a money market protocol that integrates with Beanstalk, and one of the components of that would be leveraging staking rewards from yield-bearing assets like staked ETH. So, having conversations with some pretty sharp people around that, speaking to developers, potential protocols you want to integrate for that, as well as capital partners. So I think it's pretty exciting. It would ultimately lead to potentially a fixed income offering for Beans, which I think is pretty cool. So working hard on that, but more to come. Aphra had a conversation with Andrew in regards to the Bean vaults. He's almost done figuring out how to work on redeemability. It's a little tricky because of how the silo works and withdrawal periods, but we think he's got a good solution to that. So, still in a holding pattern, but hopefully those are out pretty soon. Additionally, he and the Aphra team, they kind of want to do a fundraiser, and they're thinking about doing the fundraiser in Beans in exchange for Aphra. So that's something that, next week we'll probably be kind of figuring out how to do and how to make work the best way. FRAX, we're kind of in a holding pattern. I know Sam is busy. We have a good contact there, so hopefully we can get that pull up sooner than later within the silo. I don't know if Syncubate mentioned this, but we're kind of speaking with like WAGMI Capital on potentially doing a Geome pool. Still a lot of details there to pan out, so I don't want to overspeak, but that could be in the near term pipeline potentially. Yeah, I think those are all the main updates on my end.
So when you're talking about stakewise and having staked ETH, would that be a staked ETH / Bean pool that you could trade against, and then would you deposit that in the silo, or what was the vision there?
Yeah, so thinking about a general money market where people could basically lock up staked ETH and borrow against that staked ETH, borrow Beans against that staked ETH. And since staked ETH is yield bearing, we could leverage those yields on the deposit side. And still frankly ideating through this, but kind of similar to how Anchor leverages BLoon and BETH. We could basically create a similar dynamic, but some other pretty cool things in the mix, leveraging silo yields as well. I think could give us a pretty competitive rate from like a fixed interest perspective.
Okay, cool. So Stakewise issues a token when you deposit your ETH, and then you can, similar to Lido?
Yeah. So Stakewise has a dual token model. So, you deposit your ETH, you get staked ETH, and then you accrue rewards with, which is denominated in our ETH. And those rewards are basically claimable every 24 hours. So unlike Lido, which is like a single token model, Stakewise is a dual token model. And something that's interesting is actually the Stakewise ETH staking rate actually comes out to to like 20 basis points higher, which is nice, just because of how they kind of have that differentiated against Lido. So I found that out today, but it comes out to like 4.8% versus Lido's 4.6.
Cool. Nice. Any other questions for Mr. Manifold?
Hey, Dumpling, real quick, I just wanted to say, Stakewise, from a user interface perspective too, their UI is beautiful. I just have to say, recommend everybody take a look at that. But that's all I got to say.
Cool. Yeah, we'll take a look at it. What is the stakewise.io, or what is it?
Yeah, stakewise.io. I'll throw a link to the barnyard.
Cool. I'm also typing up some notes, so it'll be in there too.
Thanks. That'd be great.
Okay, great. So I wanted to bring up JWW for to talk about the poker tournament breakdown a little bit. That was pretty successful, and it looks, hey, we have James Bean here too. So just to
hey.
talk about congratulations, James Bean. But maybe to just talk about how it went a little bit, and then what the plans are for the future.
Did James Bean win?
Yeah, we've got a winner in the midst. James Bean didn't win, but placed top 3. So James, thanks for definitely representing us all the way through to the end. Yeah, so the tournament actually shook out pretty well. So we had we had about 50 people that made it all the way through and registered for the tournament. Planned for about 3.5-4 hours. That's exactly how long it ran for. We had some really good live streaming commentary coming in from IPO for the entire duration of the tournament. So many shout outs to him because he's managed to keep everyone excited and focused on the tournament while things were progressing. We ended up doing payouts for the top 20 finishers as we promoted, and it was about just over 600,000 in pods that we gave out. Overall, it seemed like it had really good response from the people. There were a few things that we are still working through to perfect the sign up process. But overall, getting into the tournament, registering for the tournament, starting on time, having the different kind of celebrations along the way worked really well. So we're definitely thinking about how we can recycle some of the engineering that went into the site to get stuff loaded and to get the contracts in place. And maybe reusing the forums in some capacity when it comes to other things like March Madness or other events. But we're definitely going to be thinking about another tournament in the future. Don't want the tournaments to be the forefront, and that's the only thing that Beanstalk's known for. So we're just trying to think of when the best time is to do it. I think some of us are already itching to just play again because it was such a good community building event. But in the future, I think actually Canadian did a really good job of tackling a bunch of stuff in terms of helping set up the Discord and keeping conversations going with community members as they were joining and stuff like that. And so in the future, he'll definitely be taking more of a lead on those tournaments. I'll be giving guidance, but probably going back to work on some other things high level. But overall, it was just a really good tournament. Like I said, if just the community building aspect alone, I think was entirely worth it. And I think we can use it going forward as a continued way to draw in DAOs and other organizations. So we tried to get some in last minute. It was it didn't work. One or two of the partnerships didn't shake out the way we wanted to, but others did, which worked out. I think we've kind of got a good bounty structure in place that we can incentivize DAOs and other orgs to bring in their members. So yeah, a lot of good things, a lot of good learnings, really good community building event, and I'm pretty excited for the next one. So even if you guys can't make the next one, definitely join in on the Discord or listening on Twitch where we're streaming and stuff like that. Because it's just a good community building event, and yeah, overall that's kind of the sum.
Yeah, great. It was more fun. I was a little stressed out for it because we'd been planning it for so long, but once it got going, it was actually pretty darn smooth, and it just was a lot of fun. And then afterwards, I kept getting messages that were just like, "Oh, that was such a great poker tournament. That was so much fun." So I think we'll definitely want to do it again. But,
and you had a chance to take Publius Beans. So that's I think
Publius outlasted me. I got out at 37. I think Publius was 35 or something like that. But yeah, it's pretty great.
One other thing, Rex kind of mentioned this before in terms of the community. I do have to say it was really great to be part of kind of a really cross-departmental thing. It touched on everything. So even just in this chat, there's a handful of you guys helped along the way to get stuff going. It was just fantastic to work with everyone. So I think projects like this really show the strength and the integrity of the DAO and the willingness of all of us to kind of go above and beyond what we were brought on for certain things. So it was just it was a really good event overall. And I think it's just a really good sign. Dumpling, you went through this really intense infrastructure building month period where we all kind of did. And it just goes to show the health of things. So it was good news.
My favorite part was when someone from Olympus tweeted and they were like, "Hey, look at this cool poker tournament someone put on. When are we going to have a poker tournament?" And I was like, yeah. So that was cool. The other another nice thing that got made just today, or we just finished up today, was a nice whiteboard kind of intro video to Beanstalk. And JWW, you were heavily involved in that. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, actually, yeah, thanks. So Dee's briefly touched on it too, but that's also like a really cool project that we just wrapped up that kind of pulled in, marketing and some copy and then definitely design stuff. So we have officially kind of the final draft, the first final draft of a full-length video that has a pretty good synopsis of what Beanstalk is. And so we've got three primary areas that we're going to start socializing it with the community. But it's definitely meant as a video that you can kind of share with others to help them get up to speed. If in full transparency, it's definitely geared a little bit more towards crypto natives in some ways, but other ways are very approachable. Overall, it's just a very good video, I think, to get people up to speed. And so we'll be putting that up very soon on the site, and then, as I said, disseminating in the community, so you guys will have access to it. Everyone will have access to it. But really excited. I think this is the exact kind of content that we need when we think of what the best way is to reach out to people other than just tweeting or the written word. And I think that just to get a really good kind of cross departmental project. So it's really good to see it kind of come to fruition and wrap up.
Great. Okay, so now we can open the floor up a little bit for just general discussions. I hope I didn't forget anyone.
Hey, Dumpling.
Hey, T-Vic.
I have some updates, I guess.
Yeah, go ahead.
Also, in the future going forward, do I need to fill out somewhere if I want to present in this meeting, or?
Well, in general, you seem to have. I can just add you as a standing update, but also in the meeting notes section in the Notion, there's a upcoming meeting agenda that you can add. You can add a bullet to.
Okay. Yeah. Feel free to just include me as kind of like a standing update.
Yeah, happy to.
Cool. All right. So on the kind of data science side, so this week I got a lot of work done for the pod marketplace on the Dune Analytics website. And I think that's a great complement to the Bean Money website, just because there's a few things that are shown there that aren't necessarily visible on the website. So it's nice to kind of iterate on those ideas, and in the future we can use those to inform design decisions on the website. Also, just a few general fixes to the dashboard. The soil balance chart was showing negative balances for a while, but that's been corrected now, so that's a little bit more accurate. And on the engagement side, I've been talking with the OMIs a lot. So I kind of started focusing on the pod marketplace data because longer term, probably not short term, but they're really interested in the concept of both bean bonds and also pod bonds, which could be really interesting. So based on the one of the curves I generated on Dune, we're in the process of kind of downloading that, doing some regression analysis offline, and coming up with kind of a yield curve that can be used to price pods. And that's useful for partnerships that we're planning on having with other protocols. So one, that'll be useful with Olympus DAO moving forward. It's also going to be very useful for a potential partnership with Fiat DAO. I don't know if bonds is the right way to describe what Fiat DAO is offering, but we do have some sort of product integration planned with them. And this yield curve, and specifically the regression analysis of the yield curve, is going to be kind of a key driver in enabling that. And I guess on kind of a secondary note, I've also, in conversations with the OMIs, we were kind of talking about Beanstalk's data infrastructure. And our front end data infrastructure is built using kind of a decentralized protocol called the Graph. And they introduced me to someone who is part of kind of a collective / consultancy building open source tooling, and also offering consulting services for subgraph based SDKs and just anything subgraph related, really. And we're interested in moving our data infrastructure in those areas forward as quickly as possible. It's just a big value add for the organization. So I've already kind of tagged the right people who will be relevant to that meeting, but that's just kind of one possible thing we're exploring. We're exploring using one, their tooling, and two, maybe hiring one or more developers in some capacity to help us out with our SDK and subgraph related stuff. And yeah, I think that's mostly it for developments on my end.
Awesome. Can you give us a little bit of a breakdown on how pod bonds would work? Or like any kind of, I know it's might just be in the early stages, but.
So yeah, pod bonds, I really don't know. That's kind of an idea that Asphy threw out there. And it'll be similar to just like normal Olympus bonds. Bonds are basically like you sell for anyone who doesn't know, you sell an asset to the Olympus DAO treasury and you can receive Ohm at a discount. First step with Olympus DAO would be to do that for Bean. So we put Bean in the treasury, and in return, people can get Ohm. You can bond in that way. You could also do the same thing for pods, but the question then is, how do we price the pods as we are depositing them into the Olympus treasury? And that's where this the yield curve for pods on the pod marketplace is really useful, as that gives us a sense of kind of the supply and demand functions of the market and how to really price pods in kind of a fair way. And our yield curve for that's just going to get more and more accurate as we get more data. But it's been really great to see that volume on the pod marketplace is increasing like very quickly. We've had a great last week or even the last few days. Like there's been a really big uptick in volume. So the more that happens, the more the curve we come out with in regression analysis will actually be useful for pricing pods. And once we have a yield curve that we can convince other protocols is trustworthy, we can kind of start exploring these integrations in more depth.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So you just have to come up with a way of pricing it, and then that'd be really interesting, actually.
Yeah, they take pods into their treasury. And honestly, ask me, all the Ohmies, like I have a group chat where I'm just talking with, it's me and them. And we've been talking about this stuff a lot, and they seem really excited about it. So I'm hopeful that they said Bean Bonds is probably like, they have said that once we hit $75 million market cap, that Bean Bond should be a pretty easy sell to the DAO. Asphy said that pod bonds would be a harder sell to the DAO, but he really believes in them and he's pretty influential within that community. So if we work with him and just support him with all of the data that we have and the best analysis that we can offer, then I think there's a reasonable chance that we can make that happen. I think it'd be really cool.
It actually makes a lot of sense for them too.
Yeah,
I think it's awesome. I just dropped in the Barnyard chat my favorite tweet of the week. It was eReal's tweet. It's you versus the pod market she told you not to worry about. I just laughed for so long when I saw that. Anyway.
Yeah, I love that. That one was great.
That was a great tweet. Okay, so yeah, T-Bake, I just added you as a standing update, and happy. Always happy to hear what you have going on. So
great, thanks.
So, floor is open now for any other discussion. Any ideas people have?
I think everyone's just excited to hear Beethoven's new song, so we all just want to get there as soon as possible.
I'm here for that too.
Maybe we should skip to that part. Yeah, is it like a 12-minute like epic ballad?
It's an epic ballad. It might feel like 12 minutes. I mean, some of you may have heard it if you checked out the recording. I think D's Beans posted in the Barnyard chat last DAO. Because I wasn't able to make it last DAO meeting. But I mean, this is just one of those songs that might be true, might not be true. Doesn't really matter. It's the important thing is that I think we can all learn something from it. I sowed my beans with only 20 mil in line. didn't have much ETH, but at least them pods were mine. Then harvest came, oh, happiest of days. That's when I learned I'd lost my recovery phrase. 'Cause there's a wallet full of beans somewhere out there, floating with my hopes and dreams way out in cyberspace. I gotta let them go, though it hurts my soul. Oh, I should have been more careful with that damn recovery phrase. Now listen in as I tell my sorry tale. My wife and kids, they left me for a whale. And now I'm back on the grind, farming every day for yields. And just to clear my mind of what I left out on the field. 'Cause there's a wallet full of beans somewhere out there, floating with my hopes and dreams way out in cyberspace. I gotta let them go, though it hurts my soul. Oh, I should have been more careful with that damn recovery phrase. Gotta let them go, though it hurts my soul. Oh, I should have been more careful with that damn recovery phrase.
Woohoo! That's the best one yet, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, just
gotta ask, is it a true story?
What's that? Sorry.
Is it a true story? Gotta ask.
You know,
Straight from the heart.
I think I'm not comfortable answering that question.
So what got me is a soft country ballad with acoustic picking that involves the word cyberspace. You know, like talk about
I mulled
juxtaposition.
over that word choice for a long time, but needs must.
I liked it.
That was amazing, man.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Honestly, I don't know of another DAO with a bard on the payroll, and I think everyone else is really missing out on that. Thank you for being here, Beanstalk.
I feel like that should be the outro to the podcast. Not gonna lie.
That's an idea.
I really like that.
That is an idea.
All right, guys. Well, great meeting. Publius, do you have anything to say at the end?
Nothing substantial. Just re what everyone said early. Super happy to have such a high quality of individuals surrounding Beanstalk, and to have new people come in and to see you guys all help them in a professional and genuine and intelligent way is super incredible to see. And so thank all you guys, and you always inspire us to work harder, and we're super excited for what's to come in the next couple months.
All right. Yeah. Well, thanks everyone.
Back to
Great
the farm.
song, Beethoven, and back to the farm. Talk to y'all later.
See you
Thanks,
guys.
everybody.